So I've been getting lots and lots and lots of comments asking me to make more non-scary videos. And today, I'm here to deliver. Which I really like doing the non-scary stories. So if you guys think I should do these more, let me know in the comments. And while we read these juicy Reddit stories, I'm going to be doing some busy work in my survival world. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. The first post today is from r/relationship advice from user throwrabthief26. My 26 female friend, 26 female, has accused me of stealing her boyfriend, 25 male. He had no idea they were dating. See, this is why I love non-scary stories. Like, what? Names changed to respect privacy and throwaway account. Honestly, no idea where to start with this, and sorry if it's long. I've been friends with Carly, also 26 female, since middle school. We lost touch after I moved out of state for law school, but our parents are still friends. I moved back to our home state last year when I graduated and met Matt, 25 male. We bonded instantly as we're both studying to be lawyers. Matt should graduate this year if all goes well. Because of studying and work, we've taken things really slowly and only just recently became official. As we'd gone official, I decided to invite him to my sister's 21st birthday party. It was a huge party at my parents' house back in my hometown. Both Matt and I work and live separately about an hour away. We'd been at the party for about an hour when Carly arrived with her parents. I was excited to see her as I'd been meaning to get back in touch since I'd moved back. The timing had never been right. Well, Carly spotted us and hurried on over. I was surprised when she gave Matt a huge hug and asked him what he was doing at the party. Turns out they work in the same building and Matt's friends with a few of Carly's friends. They've been out on group nights together a few times. I did the whole, "Oh, Carly, this is my boyfriend Matt" thing, and her face instantly fell. She looked furious with me and ignored me for the rest of the party. I sent her a message the next morning asking if I'd done anything wrong. Carly blew up at me and accused me of stealing her boyfriend, and I soon got several rude messages from mutual friends. Sat, NG, something similar. I don't know, that must be a typo. Okay, saying something similar. I met up with Matt and asked him what the hell was going on. I had assumed that once we'd made it official, we were exclusive. Matt had no idea what I was talking about. I relayed Carly's message and he was even more confused. He said that he got on with Carly when they saw each other, but it had never been anything more than a friendship. He didn't think anything of them spending time together outside of work, so that's why I didn't know he and Carly worked in the same building. It's been a week since the party, and I'm still getting messages from people asking how I could do that to Carly. I've tried saying over and over that Matt and Carly weren't dating, but it's falling on deaf ears. Even my parents have heard about it from Carly's parents. I have zero idea the hell to do. Where do I go from here? I trust Matt completely, but what do I do about Carly? Edit. People have asked about the friends who have sent messages. These are all mutual friends of myself and Carly who we've known since high school. None of them, as far as I know, have ever met Matt. None of his work friends who also know Carly have sent me messages. Also, I've spoken to Carly and we're meeting up tomorrow to talk. Okay, so here's one of the top comments. It seems you unintentionally busted up Carly's fantasy. Not your fault, not your problem. She's immature and full of drama. You know, I'm thinking immature and full of drama might be an understatement. If this chick had like a full-on fantasy that that's beyond a fantasy. Like, she believed it to be true. That's not a fantasy. That's a delusion. So she's delusional. All right, so here's an update from the next day after she met up with Carly. Well, I met up with Carly. They're not dating and never were, so Matt isn't a cheater. I met up with Carly this morning at a coffee shop in our hometown. She wasn't happy to be there, but I'm over her feelings after the past week I've had. I sat her down and asked her to give me her side of the story. I told her exactly what Matt had said to me and asked for her to explain everything. Carly met Matt last year, not long before I moved back to the state. A mutual friend in the building they both work in invited Matt to after-work drinks, and that's when they met. Carly thought he was cute and started flirting with him. Sidebar. Matt is awful at picking up flirting cues. It took weeks of me flirting with him until he realized and asked me out. This is something I always find amusing because Matt himself is really outgoing with a lot of charisma. No, they haven't spent any time alone together apart from the odd run to a coffee shop near the building to grab lunch. I went through Carly's phone and there are no messages from Matt apart from ones in the group chat. They haven't kissed or slept together. Carly's never been to Matt's apartment and Matt has never been to Carly's apartment. I asked her why she thought he was her boyfriend. This is a direct quote. "Okay, so we're not officially boyfriend and girlfriend yet, but I was sure he was going to ask me really soon. He's always smiling at me and making jokes. I know he was going to ask me out, just the two of us." Yeah, she's psychotic. I basically said, "Carly, that's not him flirting with you. That's just Matt. He's a friendly guy. I'm sorry, but he and I have been seeing each other for a while now, so not going to happen." I explained how we'd been taking it slow because of both of us being so busy with studying and work, so we've only just made it official. As I said all this, I could see Carly's elaborate fantasy crumble. I asked her to please set the record straight with her parents, for my parents' sake, and with our mutual friends. Carly looked flustered, but mumbled something that sounded like, "Yeah, fine." I said I was sorry for this misunderstanding, and hopefully we could put this behind us. On my drive to Matt's apartment, I called him to relay everything. He was baffled by the whole thing, but said he would message Carly. Once I got there, he showed me the text. "Hey Carly, look, I'm sorry if I misled you in any way with my actions. Please know they have only ever been from a friendly place. I see us as friends, but that's all. I hope we can be friends in the future once this is all blown over, but if you're not comfortable with that, then I'll respect it. All the best, Matt." Carly hasn't responded yet, and I don't know if she will. Hopefully she'll set the record straight with everyone. I'm washing my hands of this mess and focusing on my relationship with Matt and my studies. Alright, the math ain't mathin' on this one. Like, I get it's not the OP or Matt's problem whatsoever, but this chick needs to, see somebody. You know what I mean? The next post today is from r/relationships from user Ugly Balding Girl. "My 26 female company is threatening to fire me over my hair. How do I explain to my employers, 40s, females, that it looks this way due to a medical issue?" I'm sorry if this is a silly post or very trite. I know it's nowhere near as serious as a lot of things discussed in this sub, and maybe this isn't the right place to post this, but I'm new to Reddit and I wasn't sure where else to go. I started working as a receptionist for a small business about 2 weeks ago. During interviews and for the first couple days, there was no mentioning of any issues with my appearance, but yesterday my manager Linda told me that the owner of the company, Christy, doesn't like the way my hair looks, and if I don't change it, I won't be able to move forward in the company. I live in an at-will state, so I know it's probably legal for them to fire me for any reason they want to. That's not really my question. In the employee handbook, it states that employees with hair shoulder length or longer must wear it up in a ponytail, which I do. However, Christy told Linda that my hair looks messy and I need to have it completely pulled back and off my face. I have wavy, curly, frizzy, slightly wild hair, and I have bangs or a fringe. But I take care of my hair the best I can, wash daily, brush, straighten, use smoothing products, but it'll never be smooth or shiny. I've never had an employer have an issue with my hair, even when I worked in food service. My hair's unique, but it's not out of control, and I even get compliments on it sometimes. The problem with this is that I have a lot of hair loss due to medical issues. I wear my hair in bangs that frame my face, and I don't pull it back in a tight slicked back style, because I have some severe bald patches at my hairline going all around my head. Sorry if this is confusing. I'm trying to describe it the best I can without posting pictures. Basically, it's worse at the top of my forehead and going down along the sides to behind my ears. Therefore, to keep the bald patches covered, I style my hair in a looser ponytail with bangs. Like I said, this has never been an issue with a previous employer. Every other woman at the company either has super short hair or straight hair, so perhaps they're just not used to seeing my hairstyle or texture. I've dealt with eating disorders and major anxiety and depression my whole life, which in certain circumstances can lead to hair loss. Last year, I had an inpatient hospital stay due to these problems. I'm doing somewhat better. I mean, I'm not in the hospital anymore, so yay, But I have to admit, I still have problems with EDs, anxiety, and depression. They're just not as bad as they were when I was hospitalized. Anyway, I'm really embarrassed of my hair. I feel ashamed when I have to pull it away from my face. It took a lot for me to even be able to put it in a loose ponytail, but I don't think there's any way I'm going to be comfortable displaying my bald patches to the world. Personally, I think it looks less aesthetically pleasing than my messy hair. The next time I work with Linda, I want to talk to her about my hair loss. Despite her being the owner, I'm hesitant to talk to Christy. I've heard from many people that she's very controlling and difficult to work for, but I've never had conflict at work, so it didn't deter me from working here. I was too shocked and embarrassed to bring it up when Linda initially pulled me aside. However, I can't even talk to my parents or boyfriend about it without bursting into tears, because I'm so ashamed. I also don't want to be too specific and personal, since this is a work situation after all. Do you guys have any suggestions of how to handle this situation? What should I do or say? Honestly, this one's just very aggravating. Anyways, here's an update. Update, kind of. I went for a drive and thought this over, and now, instead of sad and anxious, I just sort of feel annoyed and angry and completely over the whole thing. I have body dysmorphic disorder, so I think this hit me much harder initially because of that. Now, I realize it's not a problem with how I look, but a problem with how other people are reacting to me, and it's not my fault for being, I don't know, inferior or ugly or something. I'm going to go in and speak to the HR rep if he comes in tomorrow. If not, I'll wait until next week to talk to Linda. I'll show someone how it looks, and hopefully within the next few weeks, I'll be able to see a doctor. But regardless of what happens, I'm going to start looking for another job. If it's not this, it's going to be something else, and I don't think I should have to feel ashamed, embarrassed, and in constant fear of being fired for something trivial at work. This place has a high turnover rate, and I'm starting to see why. Thank you everyone for your help. I'm so happy I know about the ADA now and how it actually does apply to someone with my problems. I'll update with what happens if anyone's curious. Thank you, Reddit XO. Another edit. Also, I tried to upvote everyone who commented, so I hope that I did it right. Like I said, new to Reddit, and I'm a lurker. This account has more activity than my regular browsing account. But yeah, I really appreciate all of your help. Heart emoji. Yeah, I feel like if this person goes to their boss and explains it, it's like, hey, yeah, I have these issues. I have bald spots I don't want to show. I'm very, insecure about it. Like, definitely they should understand. I mean, I feel like it's not a big deal. And the fact that they brought up the person's hair anyways when they just have curly, frizzy, crazy hair, like, what the hell? Like, that's all I gotta say. Like, what the hell? That's just stupid. Here's an update 1 week later. Well, I quit. After making the original posts, I went into work planning on waiting until Linda came in a few days later to address it. However, Christy addressed my hair the minute she walked in the door. She wasn't totally happy. I told her that I had a medical issue that caused hair loss, so I wear my hair to hide that. She told me the front looked better. I mentioned in the original post that I went to the bathroom and trimmed the bangs myself. The bad thing is, I hate how they look now, so short. But oh well, they'll grow out. But she still didn't like the back because it looked messy. I told her that's just my hair texture. When a lot of it fell out, for some reason it grew back a lot thinner and drier and weaker. I remember one part of the conversation went like this. Christy, well, can you brush it? Me, I do brush it. I brush it every morning before I put it in a ponytail. Christy, well, can you brush it? Are you deaf? Sorry. So weird. It's like she wasn't even listening to what I was saying. I think she just wanted something to complain about regarding my hair, and since I mentioned the medical issue thing, she couldn't say anything that related to covering the bald patches. I just agreed with her that it's messy, which made me sad to do. It's taken me so long to embrace my natural hair texture, and I was finally getting to a point where I liked having wild, crazy hair. When my boyfriend and I met, one of the first things he told me was how much he loved my hair, which felt so amazing. I'm going off on a tangent, sorry. And went back to work. That day happened to be the day we got our paychecks, and this is what cemented my decision to leave. Upon hire, I was told, verbally not in writing, what my hourly pay rate was going to be. On my first paycheck, this rate was lowered by 25 cents. I didn't think that was that large of a dock to make a big deal about. Maybe it was a mistake and it would be fixed on the next check. Nah. This check had a rate that was 25 cents lower than the first check, so 50 cents lower than the rate I was told I'd be receiving upon hire. I know 50 cents an hour isn't that big of a deal, but for one, I'm poor and have a lot of hospital bills. And for two, that really told me a lot about how they treat their employees and how they planned on treating me. So the next day, I called in sick and spent the whole day going around to temp agencies and applying for jobs online. I ended up landing an interview for the next day and I got the job. It's just a temp gig for a few months, but it pays better than the old job, and everyone I met seemed super nice, and nobody said anything about my hair. LOL. So I called the old job and told them I was done. They didn't answer and never called me back. I'm thinking they're used to this sort of thing. I can't wait to go in and get my next paycheck with my hair in its natural state. My boyfriend thought I should have stuck it out for another week until I start my new job, but I don't think I could have stood another day in that place. Like someone commented in the original post, it was not a happy work environment. I was having horrible anxiety just thinking about going in. Money might be a little tight this week, but it's such a huge weight off my shoulders to know I don't have to be there ever again. But the most important part of this update is to mention someone here on Reddit who went above and beyond in helping me with this situation. User/Gilbert LaRue mailed me a package full of tons of products to help me with my hair. I legit teared up when I opened the box. I'm absolutely so astounded by her generosity and kindness toward a girl she doesn't even know. It's seriously the nicest thing anyone has done for me in a long time. I honestly can't believe it. I just wanted you all to know how wonderful and kind she is. Here's a picture of the products. Sorry, don't know how to add images. Hope that works. Somehow she knew my eyebrows were thinning too and sent me an Anastasia eyebrow pencil as well. And it came with some cool samples too. I've tried almost all the products already. Oh, and I listened to what you guys were saying and bought some sulfate-free shampoo. My hair looks so much healthier and prettier already. Oh, a few people asked in the comments on the first post if because of my BDD that I was imagining the bald patches. I asked my boyfriend and he said no. He'd always noticed them, but he never said anything because they didn't bother him. So I'm not entirely delusional at least. I also want to thank all of you who commented on the original post. I received so much great advice on my job, my hair. You were all so wonderful and supportive. I'm sorry I wasn't able to reply to everyone. I can't believe how many people commented. I've always been a lurker on Reddit because I'm so shy, but I have to say that one of my only experiences posting has been incredible. I hope someday, after I learn about hair care, I can pay forward the wonderful gesture from user Gilbert LaRue and help somebody else who needs it. Thank you so much, Reddit. Okay, bad start, but very wholesome ending. I guess the moral of this one is, if you go into a bad environment where you're shamed for things that you can't control, get out of there as soon as possible, if you can, because it's almost never worth the strain it can put on you mentally. Anyways, let's go ahead and read the next one. It was on r/relationships, but the original post was deleted, and it's titled, "My 25 male girlfriend, 25 female, of 3 years is very picky and only eats greasy kids meal type foods, like pizza and chicken nuggets. Am I a bad boyfriend for letting this bug me so much?" Honestly, maybe, because this is kind of a peak diet. I'm joking. Eat your veggies. I met a great girl, Wendy, my last year of college. We became good friends and started dating after graduation and have our 3-year anniversary coming up. I've got the money saved up for a ring and have been debating popping the question for our anniversary. Wendy is beautiful, smart, has a good job, funny, sweet, caring, basically everything a guy could ask for. But there is, of course, one problem. Wendy is an incredibly picky eater. She literally only eats like a dozen or so things, and they're all things you could find on a kid's menu. Chicken nuggets, pizza, grilled cheese sandwiches, etc. Now, while I like those things occasionally, I also like to eat exotic things like Thai food or sushi, or something that can be ordered outside of a fast food restaurant. Wendy never wants to go anywhere nice to eat. It's always pizza or Mickey D's. If we stay in, it's chicken nuggets and french fries. She says the texture of anything else bothers her. I haven't seen her eat one vegetable since I've known her, and she's had fruit only once or twice. First of all, I'm worried about her health. While she isn't overweight at all, really fast metabolism, and her doctor said she was healthy at her last checkup, I can't see how that'll last forever. I really want her to take care of herself. Second, maybe this is bad, but her diet is a total turnoff and highly unattractive to me. To me, it seems very immature and childish, and I'm embarrassed. I can't take her anywhere nice or out with other people. Third, I'm trying to come to terms that if I want to go somewhere interesting, I'll have to go without her. And while I think I might be able to make that sacrifice, I'm sick to death of eating Pizza Hut every week. And it seems kinda depressing that I'll never be able to cook a meal indoors with her and share it with her. I'll be eating my homemade curry or pasta dish or something, and she'll be munching on a grilled cheese sandwich. This is the only reason I'm considering not proposing. I do love Wendy a lot, but is it unreasonable that I'm considering ending our relationship over this? I want to be married and have a family eventually, and if we aren't headed in that direction, there's no point in dragging this out. She's really great in every other way, so am I nuts for letting this one aspect of her drive me crazy enough to not propose to her? I know I can't change her. I've even brought this up once or twice, and she always says, I just don't like other food. I don't want to try anything else. But I don't want to become resentful and look down on her and disrespect her either. And I really don't want a wife that I'm embarrassed of. So would I be nuts to let this be a deal breaker? Should I just suck it up and get over it? Or is this a legitimate thing to take pause over? So I kinda get both sides of this one. Like, I get having comfort foods, but like the unwillingness to try new things completely, that's kind of frightening. I don't quite know what else to add, so let's just read the update. It's from 6 days later. After I made the post on Reddit, I waited for Wendy at her apartment, and when she came home, I gave her time to get dressed in comfortable clothes, talk about her day, and just relax for a bit before I sat her down and told her we needed to talk. I basically reiterated what I told you guys in my post. I told her I loved her and that she was sweet, amazing, beautiful, and I always looked forward to seeing her every day, and that I had been thinking about spending the rest of my life with her. She started to get really excited, but then I told her there was one issue that I'd been thinking about for a while, and that it was making me very hesitant to take the next step. I told her that the issue of her diet was becoming a real deal breaker for me. I said, first and foremost, despite how her recent checkup went, that we both know her diet isn't healthy, and her good luck won't last forever. I said I didn't want to lose her during our middle-aged years because she won't take vitamins or eat vegetables and fruit and healthy whole grains, and was basically living on cheese and grease. I then told her that, as much as I loved her, her diet embarrassed me. I said it was very hard on me that I couldn't take her anywhere because either she wouldn't go, or if she orders food that a grammar school kid would, or that if we have company over, she won't eat the food I cook, and either makes herself chicken nuggets or mac and cheese. I said she was really limiting our social life because of this, and that I had tried for 3 years to not let it bug me, but frankly, I couldn't lie to myself anymore. And it was humiliating and sometimes hard to take her seriously when she insisted on having a Happy Meal while everyone else ate adult food. Lastly, I told her it occurred to me about what we would do with children. I said there was no way in hell I was going to let my kids eat a bunch of garbage, that I wanted them to have a varied palate and to regularly eat fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean protein, and vitamins. I asked her, how can I expect my children to eat healthy if their own mother wouldn't? I asked her if she had ever thought what kind of role model that she would be setting and the example she would be providing. And then I asked her that when inevitably our kids don't want to eat their spinach or lima beans, and want what mommy is having instead, how would she react to it? I finished by saying I loved her very, very much, and that I wanted to work on this issue with her. I suggested couples counseling for the both of us to brush up on our communication skills and ways of handling child rearing and other compromises, and told her I'd been reading, and I thought cognitive behavioral therapy might really help her. I then asked her if she could be specific on why eating other food bothered her so much. Did she have a bad past experience? Did it make her sick or even frightened to try new foods? I was hoping she'd tell me something that would give me insight and maybe open my eyes that she wasn't immature and childish. Maybe she had some trauma regarding food. She was quiet for a little bit and then asked sarcastically, "You think I need therapy for my diet?" I said we both need therapy and premarital counseling anyways in order to learn good skills for communication and compromise. She then said, "There's nothing wrong with me. I'm thin. The doctor said I was okay, and no, I don't have any past with food. My parents just treated me like an adult and let me eat what I wanted instead of forcing me to eat what they wanted me to." I just looked at her in dumb shock. I couldn't believe the words coming out of her mouth. That her parents spoiling her was treating her like an adult. That she actually thought her diet was healthy. I reiterated my question about children, and she shrugged and said, "Honestly, I never thought about it, and it doesn't bug me. Our kids can have what they want. If you want to feed them all that health food, you can, but I'm not going to make them if they don't want to." I just sat there, looking at her, feeling like I didn't even know this person. I had never really pressed the issue before because I felt it made me a pretty ungrateful boyfriend. But now that I was trying to have a mature conversation about it, she was spewing some of the stupidest BS I'd heard in a while. I told her parents need to be a united team, and what she was describing was just the opposite, and it was issues like this that counseling could help us with. She said, "The only person who has a problem with this is you. I like what I eat. I just do. I don't think I need to change. I don't want to go to counseling with you, and I definitely don't need cognitive whatever you said. I don't want to go to different restaurants. If you and other people do, that's fine, but it's not for me. And I make that other food for dinner parties because I don't like what you cook. So am I just supposed to starve while everyone else eats? You can eat what you want, and I'll eat what I want. I'm not changing because there's no reason to. I'm done with this conversation." And she just crossed her arms and stared at the TV. I just looked at her for what felt like forever, feeling like I'd had the rose-colored glasses lifted. Hearing her rant, seeing her sit there and pout with protruding bottom lip and all, suddenly made me feel disgusted, like I was dealing with a petulant child instead of a real woman. I told her I was tired and was going home. She said, "Fine, you can see yourself out." So I went home and just thought everything over. How I had calmly brought up a real situation, how she completely blew me off, insulted my cooking, and how there was no real issue behind her pickiness other than just being stubborn. I don't care what you all say. It's what I suspected from the get-go, and it's just pure immaturity, complete with childish pouting. I thought how she was willing to let any kids we had eat an unhealthy diet, and how she wouldn't have my back when the kids inevitably challenged me. How backward her views were on parenting, and how she just refused to consider any of my wants or needs and work towards reaching a compromise. I gave myself a couple of days to cool down and really think, so I wouldn't make any hasty decisions in the heat of the moment, and decided I needed to end this relationship. I realized this issue had been brewing for a while, and the few times I had tried to gently bring it up, she had always rudely blown me off and made me feel like a terrible, awful person for questioning her food choices. I called Wendy and asked if I could come over. She said yes and opened the door with a big smile, and the first words out of her mouth were, "I knew you'd come around and wouldn't let a stupid thing like this get in the way of us." Wow. If I'd had any doubts about breaking up with her or attempting to salvage this relationship in any way, it died right there. I told her I had actually decided I was breaking up with her, that we were just too different and that I couldn't be with someone who wouldn't even attempt to consider my feelings or needs in a relationship, and who acted like a damn child with no manners at dinner parties and during adult conversations. I was through. Her mouth dropped open, and she just stared at me, rapidly blinking her beautiful big blue eyes. She then said, "Wait, are you serious?" I felt my eyes starting to well up right about then, so I just handed her the spare key to her apartment and said, "Here's a hint. Goodbye," and just walked away. I was a lot more gruff than I wanted to be, but I didn't want to bawl like a baby right in front of her. I got back in my car, and as soon as I turned the corner, started sobbing. Went home, called up a few buddies as soon as I could talk without blubbering, and everyone came over and brought snacks and beer. Those are good friends. I told them all I had broken up with Wendy and reiterated what had happened. They were all supportive and confirmed my suspicions about what other people thought by saying things like, "Yeah man, didn't want to say anything because you seem happy, but She was freaking weird, dude. I don't know how you put up with her this long. And she always seemed really off to me, man. Yeah, it's weird to eat nothing but Domino's and chicken fingers when you're that age just because. Good freaking riddance. Then we proceeded to play hours of video games and get drunk out of our minds. Well, I did anyways. Everyone ended up crashing at my place, and they all recently left, slapping me on the back and promising to find me someone who can eat something besides a Big Mac without gagging and throwing a tantrum. As for Wendy, she's been blowing up my phone like crazy, leaving tear-filled voicemails and pleading texts asking how I could do this to her. How could I just end it after so many years? And recently more aggressive, like how I'm an asshole and I'm super intolerant and petty and shit. Not one freaking word of remorse, or apology, or even fake promises to change. Just whining at me for what I did to her. I got pissed and told her to stop calling and texting me. That we were done and she needed to suck it up and deal with it, and to go find some 12-year-old she could share dino nuggets with. Yeah, I know that was petty, but I couldn't help it. I was just really freaking sick of her attitude and dealing with 3 years of grilled cheese sandwiches. I blocked her number and changed my relationship status on Facebook and booted her from my friends list. Last I checked, I already have several likes over me being single. Apparently love really does make you blind. Wow, Facebook mentioned. That's how you know this post was from 2015. Thanks to everyone who helped me in my last post and really opened my eyes to what exactly I was dealing with. Hopefully I'll get over the heartbreak. Yes, I really did love her and this really hurts. Soon enough, and can take a date out for Thai food without her looking like she sucked on a lemon. So at first, I was thinking this person was just eating this stuff because it was comfort food and it was safe and the textures were safe. But now I'm realizing, based on how the OP described, that she was just spoiled and her parents never made her eat vegetables as a kid. But being as this post was 10 or 11 years ago, I hope the OP found some love. And Wendy, if you're out there, leave your cholesterol levels in the comments because I'm curious if you're healthy still. Anyways, that's all the Reddit stories in Minecraft I have for you today. If you guys like these non-scary videos, definitely let me know down in the comments because I can definitely do something like, every other day or yeah, let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Peace.